Lord, I'd like to turn the call over to you.
Rise and shine.
Rise and shine.
Outstanding. I am just sitting back reflecting tonight on all of the things that are taking place. And as we are moving to a major time, as I spoke of this morning on the United Nations call, I am still in the process of putting a lot of things together, being busy as busy can be, making sure that all of the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. Because we are headed into a major situation that's going to be easily looked at by the people, and the people, and I'll make sure, let me make perfectly clear, and I'll make sure, that I'm talking to the proper people, and I'm talking to all of the would-be righteous people of the universe. Today, I'm speaking to them. I have been speaking to them in the past, and I will continually to speak to them as long as my Father tells me to. The reason why I'm saying that is because I know tonight we have some new callers on the line. Be not afraid to ask your questions. Be not afraid to even ask your neighbors what is taking place. But at the same time, be not afraid, period. For if you are one of those people that have been attending any type of religious institutes, or perhaps even going and listening to some of the messages that you're seeing on television, known as evangelist television, you have heard them many times tell you what it was to come. Those things have arrived. Not only have they arrived, now you're going to have to make a choice whether you accept them or reject them. No longer will you be able to pay a tithe in church and say that your sins will be forgiven. Now you're going to have to take total control of your life based upon your righteous actions. No longer can you just be a hearer of the word. Now you must become a doer as well as a hero. You must become a doer. That means you must begin to find yourself sliding out of your comfort zone and doing some things that perhaps maybe you never ever would have imagined that you would have to do. But it's that time. So, along with the new callers, me welcoming you to the call, we ask that you stay or become a guest rather than a visitor. The guest that we use is G-U-E-S-S rather than G-U-E-S-T. We want you to keep us guessing when you would leave us, and we do deem and believe that once you get a piece of what is known to be the total truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, we believe that it will begin to set you free, and thereby you will never leave. Tonight, for some of you, it may be a very sad night. For others, that might be considered a very special night. And some of you today are still celebrating the homegoing of a lot of your relatives and some of your closest friends, and who knows. Here tonight, we know is 9/11 once again. We can celebrate tonight based on the fact that we did not experience what we experienced at a 9/11 a number of years back. I need not carry you back to that particular day or that night, even though it seems that our government loves finding the time to carry you back, asking the question, where were you that day, or where were you at that night, when they can't even determine where they were themselves, or it never would have happened on their clock. God Almighty. So as they reflect on 9/11 tonight, I would tell them, first of all, they must remember that today is also Friday. And as we know, this Friday, there are some people somewhere in this distant land, and perhaps right next door to you, that has found a day to not even eat something that we call meat, M-E-A-T. The reason they're not eating that meat is based upon the Catholic Church, or the Roman Catholic Church. And now even Roman Catholics themselves have found a time to no longer use that particular customary time to refrain from meat. They're now eating meat again. But during that day of Friday, every Friday, they used to call it Fish Friday or Friday's Fish, based on the fact they would refrain from eating meat and they would eat fish. Yeah, and those of us who have really done our total research and our search in which we've been told to do by Dr. Henderson, you've already figured out and realized now that there's a word that they call Free-Yah. No, not the kind of Yah that we talk about. They're talking about an F-R-E-Y-A, Free-Yah. And it was known as the word we now call Friday. They use this word based upon fertility. Yeah, let me say that again. They use this word again based upon fertility. Free-Yah, Friday. And they only used the fish because the fish was known in fertilization to be one of the most fertile beings that would possess fertile eggs on this planet. Some of them have been said to be able to produce as many as 9 million eggs, and others were 100 million eggs, and some 700,000, and there was others that were 10,000. I could name you every last one of those fish in which they were talking about. I know the cod was the first one of about 9 million eggs he lays each time she lays eggs. And I can say to you that it was based upon fertility that they were using this Freya or this word Friday. And the fish was for fertility. Now, by some chance, the Roman Catholic Church moved into this plan where they brought it into a making for everyone to do it, and it was supposed to be some special day or some special feeling or some special gift. So they used it for that particular reason, and then the folks began to wear these hats that look like fish, and then they started calling themselves fishermen and so on and so on. So now we have this system in which has been set up to still fool the masses. The reason I'm mentioning this tonight is because it is Friday night. Not only is it Friday night, but to them, it's a very special night because it's a night that's considered to be 9/11, based upon a tragedy that hit the United States of America. But there were those who really, really celebrated that day, even though it was happening at that exact moment. I'm not trying to carry your mind back to it. What I'm doing is I'm getting you to refresh your mind to let you know that that time is near again. Because we're moving down a time where there shall be wars and rumors of wars, but the word says the end will not be yet. Yes, and those wars and rumors of wars are happening around you as we speak. That's why you have heard the story coming straight from out of Shelley's mouth tonight about the refugees. But she need not have to even tell you. She need not even have to remind you because you're already aware of it. You already even heard your president talk about bringing at least 10,000 of those people into your nation, your country, and your city and your town. And they've already began to start plastering on the board based upon states, based upon locations, based upon areas, based upon communities of the people who are now either in opposition to it or they're in acceptance to it. They already can give you a percentage of those people. And somehow they themselves have not yet been able to either accept or reject. God Almighty. These are the things that you're dealing with now. They will begin to get worse because now you're going to be dealing with adverse weathers. They are happening as we speak. The volcano is still erupting. The underground fires are still happening. And as you heard a young lady this morning speak of, there's fires still burning in Washington State. Yeah, there are those that catch fire when they get ready in the state of California. So, but I need not remind you of California just today. Please pay close attention. Just today, California decided to pass a law. The law that they passed today was something that is called assisted suicide. Suicide. They have passed a law that it is okay for a person to be able to commit suicide, and at the time they're committing suicide, they can be assisted in doing it. God Almighty. What law will they pass next? Let's just bring in 10,000 refugees. We will make them so sick that they will want to take their own lives. And if we place them in California, we guarantee them that the law will allow them to do so. God Almighty. Boy. Never cease to amaze themselves. Never amaze me. So these are the things that we are being faced with as we walk through this here beautiful world in which we're in. Yes, and I know what's taking place now. I hear everybody attacking Mr. Trump, but Mr. Trump is attacking himself because he himself has not yet been able to tell the people the whole truth and nothing but the truth. He finds the time to want to elevate himself based upon the fact of bringing others down, and at the same time, he don't even realize that all those people that he's trying to bring down, they will bring him down as well because they like the ladder. They love the elevation more than he does. And if they all grew up the same, what they call blue collar, and somehow moved into white collar, and now somehow they seem to be what they consider to be above the masses. And, you know, I was always warned by my father to be careful of that. And notice I didn't say my daddy. I said my father. My father's Yah, Y-H-W-H. Yes, and the warnings that he gave us was even when he was walking with men such as Peter and such as Judah. He was walking with those men. And he knew at some point in time exactly what they would do. But he kept walking with them. He never kicked them out. He never turned them away. He fed them right along with feeding the other ones. And I'm pretty sure that when they got sick, he laid hands on them as well. And they got well again. So the warning is there. We all ourselves have to realize that warning will never go away. No, but he tells us to love our enemies and pray for those that despitefully use us. Yeah, I've been very busy the last few weeks. I'm still busy, but I'm still making time for the people. Why? Because I don't do numbers. I don't care about time because time does not belong to me. I cannot hold time. Neither can I slow it. I definitely cannot speed it up. But my Father, who is Father Time, he's the one who deals with all of that. So I'll be okay doing exactly what he's called me to do. That is to redeem the people. However I can redeem the people. I too have to work sometimes, and that's okay with me. I'm trying to redeem people, and that's just part of the process sometimes. Sometimes you have to stop to feed another person that's hungry or one that's sick. You have to help find medication for them. That's just part of what we do to redeem mankind. I understand that I'm talking to all of the nations around. I hear them talking back to me. I know that they understand who I am and what I'm saying. Even though a man by the name of Dan Brown has told them that he came back. So he's been here for 30 years on the land and he still don't know that he's back yet. I tell him no cigar. He know when he came back. He know when he got back. He really don't care who is trying to claim any of that. That's not his concern. His concern is to make sure that all 7.4 billion people are given the opportunity, a chance to redeem themselves. And that's at all costs. My father has a real name. His name is uncompromisable. Not only is it uncompromisable, he has not given me the power to give it to another. He says, what he has given to you, you cannot give to another. Neither will he. So my father's name is exactly what it is, YHWH. And as I begin this here whole program, if we might call it that, this whole setup, if we might call it that, this whole march to freedom, this whole march to love, this whole march to peace, this whole march to truth, this whole march to love, when I first began it, my words to everyone who was with me at that time, all I wanted to do was to make sure that they would redeem my father's name. Yes, at that moment in time, yes, I was also talking about King Henry. I was talking about Henderson. Yeah, but I was also talking about at the most important level of the whole entire chain of command was the name YHWH, Yah. And that name will be restored. It does not have to fall under any category. So all those people, they keep calling me to find a time and say that you're the royal family before me. Let me tell you something. If you did not come from Yah, YHWH, I would say to you, your second seat would be just fine, because I will even love my enemies and pray for those that despitefully use me based upon the strength in which you have given me. God Almighty. So don't waste your time trying to impress me with something that you found to be untrue, because I can show you where that and what you found. You can put it back into the trestle box. You can put it back into that box and cast it back into the sea, because it was not lost treasure. It was treasure that they threw in a box and they hid it just for you to find. I know who I am. I know whose blood I have in my veins. So as we move forward in this time of trouble, it's a celebration. For those that are the righteous, I keep saying to you, celebrate. This is a time for celebration. Ask and you shall be given. Knock, the door shall be open. Seek and ye shall find. All these things you have done, you are still seeking every day. You are doing your research. You are going beyond the point of reconstruction. You're going to the point of where it was first constructed, before the re. You're going to the point of finding out exactly where you came from and who you are based upon RNA and DNA. The answer for those of you that are still questioning who are you in RNA and DNA sector of the world, you will find out very shortly. Everything will be just fine. I found a little bit of quiet time today. I found some time to be alone with my father, and as I began to watch the stars come out, yes, even though it was cloudy, I can see them. Yes, as I began to watch them dance with each other hand in hand, knowing that some of them pretty soon will be fleeing to the earth. And as they're fleeing to the earth, they will do things that they've never done before, just to get the attention of mankind. That will be those of them that will fall to the earth, and they will turn to sparks of fire. That will be others that will be flinged into the sea, and they themselves will find themselves become a great wind, in which will pull the waters as if though it was a blanket or covering over man's head. There's those of them that will hit the water at the same time, and they will find themselves becoming blocks of ice. They will become so cold that they will chill the oceans, that even the fish will stop swimming and be still alive once it melts again. I'm not trying to put fear in man. I'm trying to get him to get a true understanding of what my father is capable of doing and what he is doing now to get his attention. Meantime, while you're trying to write a check, my father has already wrote a check. Meantime, while you're trying to cash it, my father has already cashed it. My father's moving now. Yes, and he's moving swiftly. He is singing the song, "Nobody Can Beat You But You," because he knows who he is. He knows who he has sent to spread his word. He knows that that's going to take place regardless. It will take place just as he has ordered it. Because when he orders a thing, it's done. Now we're moving fast right now. We're moving very fast. And I know that we have to hurry up and get to Q&A tonight because I know there's a lot of people with questions. No doubt in my mind. I have young men that are now incarcerated who are being masqueraded around as if though they were animals. And even a lot of them now find themselves, even though they were locked up, in a manner in which now we can use the words. The words that we use is Sali Dio Gloria. Let me repeat those words. Sali Dio Gloria. Yes, and for those of you that don't understand what I'm saying, grab someone's hand because I will go ahead and interpret. This is glory be only to God. Sali Dio Gloria. Glory be only to God. These are the same words they was doing during the Roman days. And they was using it during a time they called it inhuman inquisition. They were marching around sprinkling something that they call holy water all over the things in which they were using to torture people. And they were screaming, Sali Dio Gloria. Glory be only to God. And at the same time, they were executing people left and right for crimes that they did not commit. Only because they were at that same moment trying to alleviate some of the many people that they had, which is what they're doing today. Sali Dio Gloria. And sprinkling holy water all over the planet, pretending to be God's men or God's helpers or God's sons even. Meantime, they're back at the forum marching around saying, Soli Dio Gloria. This glory can only be to God because they better believe that for every last one of the people that they have crucified, for every last one of the people that they have persecuted, for every person that they have put to death, for every person that they have illegally put into jail, they shall find that this Soli Dio Gloria, this one they call God, he will vindicate everything that they have done. He is going to uproot the unrighteous. He is going to grab the unrighteous by his hair and he's going to pull it out at the root. He will realize that even the brain carries his hair because that's how deep his hair has been rooted in his head with evil. And my Father will pull it all out. I bring these messages to the people because right now, with the time that you're going through, with the things that's about to come to you, even with the refugees, this is not an attack upon the refugees because they're going through the same thing in their nations. They're going through the same thing in their country. That's why now they're fleeing. That's why now that they have wars and rumors of wars. And I'm saying to them as well, the end is not yet. They understand a lot of those nations exactly right now what I meant when I say Soli Dio Gloria. They already know what that means. They know what that says. A lot of them has for years been able to study that word. They know exactly what kind of words they are. They know that they're Latin words. Soli Dio Gloria. They know what it means in Latin. Even the French understands that. And anyone that says he speaks that language and did not understand that, he perhaps maybe needs to do like some of our English students need to do, go back to English school to learn it. Soli Dio Gloria. Because God is the only one that can give any kind of glory. And when we say God, we talk about the YHWH. The reason I'm saying this to the people tonight is because I need you to understand that, yes, a lot of you are going to find yourself moving up. A lot of you are about to be blessed with some things that perhaps maybe you didn't think you were going to receive. A lot of you are about to be freed from places that you didn't think you were ever going to be freed from. I need you to understand that as you move outward, you're to move outward. And as you move outward, you are to carry some with you. You are to carry those that you will now see that are falling as well. You need to reach back, grab their hands, and carry them with you. And even if you consider them right now to be your enemy, you should be loving them. Love your enemies. Pray for those that despitefully use you. God Almighty, I know this sounds very familiar to you, but I know there's some of you out there that call yourself preachers, and you preach this every day, and you have not yet been able to save not one individual in your church. You're baptized them with water, and at the same time, you watch that same water run down their bodies, and you know for a fact the only cleansing that they got was that the water was cold. And you yourself have refugees right in your church. I guarantee you right now, you cannot name me one of them, but I guarantee you I can walk into your church right now, and I can at least find 2 to 3 of those people that are in your church that lives worse than refugees ever would have to live under those type of conditions that they're living under. God Almighty. I know this is a message for the righteous. I know it's not for you. This is a message for the homeless. I know it's not for you. This is a message for the truth. I know it's not for you. Because you have been busy sowing for yourself. And you have sold so much. So much have you sold. You have sold so much that now you have congregations that's larger than half the cities you live in. Because they're now able to visit you by way of internet and Facebook and all the other social media. They're able to visit your church on Sunday just by way of internet through the computer. I know you got more members now than you ever would have had before. But God Almighty. But I guess I can at least be able to say, like the greatest preacher that you say, he said, I baptize none of you. But my Father will. And for those of you that can now go around with his head up high and say, well, I was baptized when I was 5, and I was baptized when I was 4. Well, I was christened even before as I came out my mother's womb. All of you that can say that. But I must still explain to you, there is another baptism for you. It is called baptized with fire. So your water baptism has been great. But my Father is back now. And he said that when he comes back, he will not baptize you with water, but with fire. That means that for you to go through the fire, you have best be righteous. Because when you take that foot, when you walk through that fire, if you do not come out the other side, you can assure yourself that you was not one of the righteous. So why are you walking with Shaka? Shadrach, Abednego. When you're walking with them, if you should find yourself not coming out on the other side and being able to shake their hand, if you're not able to greet them on the other side, you can assure yourself that you are not amongst those that were known as the righteous. And I can tell you right now that my Father is preparing to begin the baptism with fire. All of those people are not listening to my voice now. I understand. And it's fine. They're going to be okay. Providing that they did not know. But if they know and they refuse to hear, my Father will deal with them as well. Not a threat, a promise, with a kiss coming from y'all, my Father. Tonight is a beautiful night for some of us. For others, it's a very tragic night. But there are those now that are lying on the floor sleeping. There are those that are lying out there on the ground sleeping. There are those that are lying so close to the edge of the water right now that every time a small baby wave comes in, they get wet. And there are some of them tonight that have kneeled down by the ocean because they're still waiting for their baby to float ashore. They're still waiting for their loved one to float ashore. They're still believing that somehow their loved one did make it. And he's somewhere. He's going to be walking across the water in a few minutes. They do believe that it's a man out there on the water walking with them. They do believe at some point in time he's about to drop them off right next to where they're standing. You know, and you can thank yourself, brother minister, because you told them that that's what happened if they believe. And they're still standing there right now and they believe in what you told them. But you're not there now. You're not there to hold their hands. You're not there to do what you say that you would do. You're not there to stop their scalding fever. You're not there to stop their cold blood from running through their veins. You're not there right now, but you promised them. And now that they're there and you're at home, lying down in your bed, preparing yourself for Sunday. God Almighty. Now that some of you are so locked into your studies right now, let you tell it. You don't even have time to go out to make sure that the family has eaten already because you're too busy trying to get through the book of Malachi. And somehow I know for a fact, I understand, that could hold you in the study for a long time because you still have not yet been able to understand those verses, 8, 9, and 10 of the 3rd chapter. You have not yet been able to understand what it really meant and who it was really talking to. So I know it's going to take you a long time in the study. So by the time you come out of the study, everybody will have eaten and gone to bed. God Almighty. And there's others that your study has become so terrifying to you that you keep reading it, and now you're beginning to see those things happen that you were reading about, that you thought you was only just bringing to everybody's attention just to shout them or to make them feel good on Sunday, and now you're beginning to see that it's becoming to be reality. So the first thing you do is you go out and you tell the people that this is not truly reality, nothing is really truly happening. Right now what is going on is God is trying to figure out man. No, he ain't trying to figure out man. He already knows about man. He figured man out before he even created him. What inventor do you know sit down and don't have a general idea of how his project will end up? Only those are not called inventors, they're called mad scientists. You might have the occupation confused. My father was not a mad scientist. He was a creator. He is the only creator. And he knew exactly what he was fashioning. No, he didn't have to go down to the potter's house. He didn't have to go to the potter's house just to make something, spinning it at the wheel, and then just try to call a name for it after he was through with it. No, he knew what he was fashioning. So while all of you now are relaxing
And then we have the other side of you who are trying to take credit for something you cannot take credit for because it was not your idea to begin with. You're not the inventor of it, and you definitely is not the creator. The creator had already created, and the inventors have been telling you about it now for the past 10 years. Some of them have been telling you about it for now 15 years, and you have not yet listened to his voice yet. He even told you this in 2008 that this was coming. He told you this in 2002 that this was coming. And now you're still trying to confuse the people just like you did in 2008. You put on a great show. I would have called it Ringling Brotherhood. Ringling Brothers would have been proud of you. Because they were the greatest show on earth. They were the greatest circus on earth. Because you moved your way right into what you was trying to move into so you could destroy the people once again. And now you find time now to put on a sideshow with the clowns. We want you to hurry up and get to the elephants. We want to see the elephants. We came to the show just to see the elephants. In other words, we thought the Republicans would show up. They haven't yet shown up. Wow. How great a show are they going to put on? They're not even smart enough to hold each other's tail with his chalk on the other one's tail. They're not even smart enough to do that. They can't even stop and stand on one leg. They can't even stop and pull one leg off the ground. They can't stop and pull the other leg off the ground and leave at least two still standing. They can't do that. Great elephants they are. Perhaps maybe we should have just went to the petting zoo. Maybe we could have stood around petting the asses, known as donkeys to you. That could have been the greatest show on earth. Us standing around at the pet zoo, petting gray asses. You need to understand me, O nations, O worlds. You need to understand me. Yes, I'm saying it that way, so you can make sure that even if you're in the country right now, there will be no misunderstanding for you. And I say again, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. All that is within it, all that is beneath it, all that is around it, all that is above it, it still belongs to my Father. He has not yet given you anything. And he is going to just separate it. He's going to divide it the way he wants to, and it will be an equal. And all men will be created equal, just like they were in the beginning. All men will be treated equally, just like it was in the beginning. We hold these truths to be self-evident because we were created by this God, Yah. He gave us all from unalienable and inalienable, whichever way you want to put it. It was rights that he gave us, and no other man had the right to take it. But just because your fancy way of using words, you think it changes the whole scheme of things. Wrong answer. Or play up on words is like a man without a heart. He says he loves you with his mouth, but you know that his heart is far from you. Wow, that sounds familiar to me. Where is all this coming from? I know. Dr. Henderson is not that brilliant. For it has already been written. It has been preached many times, but those that have preached it has never practiced it. God Almighty. They will. Oh, they're going to be the greatest player on the team because they're going to practice day and night for the next couple of weeks. And I guarantee them that every play that they messed up, in their last past 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, they're going to fix it in one night. They're going to feel like Jonah on a 3-day travel, and they're going to get there the same day. Woo! Get ready. My Father's not playing anymore. You have not yet brought the tithes back to the house. That's why we got refugees. That's why we got wars right now. Most of those nations are fighting. They want to know where is the gold, where is the silver. Most of those nations that are fighting, they want to know where is the money. Show us the money, Marcus Bryan. They want their money. They say, show us the money. Most of the nations that are fighting right now, they're saying, I got evicted so no one should have no place to live. Most of those nations that are fighting right now are saying, I lost my daughter, I lost my son to a cancer that I know could have been cured by us. I know we have the cure for it, but I didn't have the finances for it. So I lost it for that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. That's what's taking place. Tell the people so no one will be confused about why things are happening like they're happening and why things are going on like they're going on. Tell the people so they know. And stop sitting up there with your shirt on smiling as if though it was your idea to help the people. It was your idea that created the problem for the people. Anyone can create a problem one day to become the hero the next day. Your biggest problem is that you created it. And just like Dr. Jekyll, just like Dr. Frankenstein, you created it and it got out of control. And now you need all the help in the world you can get to control it, to put it back in its place. And you're so proud, you're so arrogant that you're afraid to ask the people for their hands that you need to help put it back, to place it back into his corral, to place it back into his cage. You're too afraid to tell the people, I have a King Kong on the loose, and I cannot control him now. But if we all join together, we can take down this King Kong. He is big as a man that we call Goliath. But if all of us got together, we can overpower him. You're too arrogant to be able to say that. Enough for talking to those that would be part of the four beasts that will be fighting very soon. Those beasts are already fighting, and they're getting bigger and bigger. For the people that don't understand, beasts don't come in small packages, they come in large packages. These four beasts that we're talking about, the lion, he will grow. He is growing every day. He's getting bigger and bigger. He's getting angrier and angrier. His claws are getting more sharper and sharper by the day. And so is his teeth. This one in which they call the bear, he's getting bigger every day. Yes, and he's now able to break trees with one swipe. He's growing, and so is his claws getting sharper by the day. His teeth are getting sharper by the day. And he's growing. This one that they call the leopard, he's getting bigger. He's getting more swifter. Yeah, he's able to climb trees backwards. And his claws is getting sharper by the day. His teeth are getting sharper by the day, then he's getting bigger. The one that is known as the dragon, I can tell him that he was once upon a time, he was raining down, breathing. Every time he would open his mouth, he could devour the world, half the world if he wanted to with fire. Yes, and even though his face began to change from that dragon into looking like a man, as he began to look like a man, the only smoke that was coming out of him was coming from those things that were killing some of his loved ones, known as cigarettes. Yes, and by the time he got through throwing away the packages in which he called Camels, he found himself smoking something that he called Winston. After he got through dealing with Winston, he found himself, just as he is now with no smoke, smoking Cools. So why he's now trying to still be slick, cold, and cool, I'm here to tell him that those other beasts are getting bigger, and they are coming after you. They're going to ride your back. And when they get through riding your back, as the Leviathan you said cannot be skinned, as the word told you, you are one Leviathan that you're skinless now. And they will help place you in the fiery pit, along with your father, along with your mother. You know who she is, and you know who he is. They will put you back into the fiery pit, and there you will burn forever. Your 1,000 years have come, and you have already had that reign, so let's not go back to that certain area in the Bible. You already know that we're beyond that point right now. You know that that part has already happened. You know that your 1,000 years you have already reigned. You know that 800 of those years can be counted right in your St. Peter Square. You know that 800 of those years can already be counted in something that you call the Holy See. Yeah, and you know that your Council of Nicaea, for 800 years, it was around a little bit longer than that. So your 1,000 years is over with. You have already been let out of the pit before. And that 1,000 years, you have had that opportunity to reign and to rain terror down on the people. But now, it's time for your return to the pit. This time will be your final time. Rest assured, I know you understand the story. You'll go and tell someone, I don't know what he's talking about. I guarantee you that by the time my father starts using the ink pen on you, you're going to realize that your whole world has come crumbling down on you. Because you understand well exactly what I'm talking about. It's just that I'm making it so plain and so simple that even a child would understand it. And even though I have fixed it that fools would understand, you being so wise, you will miss it. But you will get it. Wait until your feet start heating up and you can't find a bottom to put it down on. You will understand the story then very well. Now, I've said it before and I say it again. Where we're headed right now is major. I'm going to put myself in Q&A. But I say to you, O son of Satan, you will always be in Q&A because you have been questioned. Even before the beginning of time, you were in question. You were sitting there waiting for an opportunity for my father to turn his back. And not even realizing that he can see even behind his head. He allowed you to do exactly what you had set up to do in the beginning. And now it's your time for demise. Everyone should be celebrating of the righteous. I can tell you that if you're of the righteous, you will be fine. On the other hand, if you're not sure, I would tell you to pick a side. Just remember, you're either hot or you're cold. There's no in between. No, you can't be marginable. No, you cannot be undecided. All those things come along with election. This is not an election. You will again be either hot or you will be cold. If you find yourself being lukewarm, my father has already told you in the word that he will spew you out of his mouth. And for those that will say that what I'm saying is not true, I tell them, stand around and wait. Make that statement to the people while my Father is gathering them together. I guarantee you that you as well will find your tongue dry to the roof of your mouth. Because my Father's not playing anymore. Those clouds are dancing around, turning into figures of man that you see. Wait until you see those clouds come so low that you'll walk out on your doorsteps and you'll think that you're riding on a magic carpet. But they will come low. They will be just that low. And some of you, if you haven't been to the forest already, you might want to go out there. You'll find that there's clouds that are already on the ground and they don't dissipate. They're just sitting there right at the bottom of the trees. You know, and the trees are even looking down at the clouds now, asking them, why are you down here by my feet? You're normally up over my head. And the clouds are telling them, right now we're hiding, be quiet. They're hiding from the wrath of the one who's coming. They're hiding from the wrath that which is now upon this earth. That's what the clouds are doing. Wait until the rock starts picking up the belly of the mountains and finding themselves walking, trying to crawl underneath the mountain. I'm sure the mountains will be asking them, why are you picking up my belly? Why are you crawling under here? And they will also hear the rocks tell them, be quiet. We're hiding. We're hiding. So please be quiet. They will also be hiding from the wrath of the one that's coming. He is here. It's about to get real serious around here. Me, I'm just going to sit right here and wait for my Father. Yeah, I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to take this seat right out here. Yeah, I'm alone right now. I can do that. I'll just sit right here and wait for my Father. He knows who I am and he knows where I'm at. So I'll just sit here and wait for him. I'm not lost. He left me here. Yeah, but only for a moment. Just so he could walk over to the west side or the east side or the north side. Yeah, I know every now and then he takes his time when he gets to the south side because they can't hear too good. So I'll just sit right here and wait. Chana Machaka. I know I got some people down there now in Waco that's going through a whole lot. I've heard about it. Sure the expression, but they got a little evil man down there, and he still thinks himself to be good. Just because we haven't rained these locks down on him yet, but they're coming. We're just building you up. I want you to get real happy. I need you to be excited. If you think I'm threatening you, you know where I'm at. Don't hesitate to get here. Me and my Father will be sitting right here waiting on you. I deem that you're worse than a coward, because you won't show up. Cowards even show up, even though they come shaking. They will show up. You won't even do that. But I tell you what, you have been warned before, and you've read the book, touch not my anointed. Neither do them no harm in all that you have done. And you will have a day to visit with me and my Father. We'll give you that invitation that you've asked for. And we're going to make sure that you make good of it. We got a dinner prepared for you. So don't be dissatisfied. Just come right in and take a seat and sup with us. I'm giving you what my Father told me to give you. And he says, if you're angry, come now. Come quickly. You better read the 22nd chapter of Revelation so you'll know that these words I say. He says, come quickly. That's so you can hurry up and get what your heart desires. You want to be a hero? Hurry up and get here. It's a major day for the whole entire world right now. Even the world leaders, they know what's happening. They're not questioning anybody. And the reason they're being quiet right now because they're truly listening to y'all. They're listening to God. They hear the words. They got microphones. They put them on loudspeakers, and they're listening to the same voice that everybody else and everybody else is listening to. And the reason they're not attacking him, the reason they're listening to him, because they know that his voice is telling the truth. And they're trying to get the other leaders to get that. But the other leaders are too arrogant to get that because for some strange reason, they still want to walk around hollering first family or first blood or first black, and they don't even realize that they themselves are saying something that they should keep their mouth closed about because it has already told them, he who is first shall become last, and he who is last shall become first. And if I was them, I would at least be saying I was the last one, not the first one. But keep right on doing that. And we will give you as well the desires of your heart. You want to be first, we'll make you last. The earth is the Lord, and the fullness thereof. All that is within it, it belongs to my Father. Everything that's yielded on the inside belongs to my Father. Everything that's below it, it belongs to my Father. Even the bones, they belong to my Father. Everything that's around it, it belongs to my Father. No matter how far east or west it may go, it belongs to my Father. I was told that as a little boy. Everything that's above, it belongs to my Father. The Shamahians can't hold it. No, not even Neptune. Neptune can do nothing to hold it. I don't care how many moons Neptune grow. It better know that at the end of the day, if it grows a new one tomorrow, it will still belong to Yah. It will still belong to my Father. And trust me, it was not lost. Trust me. It was not hidden. So there is nothing hidden from the Son. And if it's not hidden from the Son, it surely cannot be hidden from the Father, because the Father, there is nothing that can be hidden or lost that my Father didn't put there himself. Let's all work while it's still day. For when night cometh, no man worketh. Your 3 days of darkness will come. At that time, I would challenge you to work quickly. Because when the brightness come again, it'll be just like that movie that everyone watched a number of years back called Eli. We're now bringing all of the holy books back. But you better believe just before we get all of them back, there's going to be a mass fallout. And you think Eli was out in the desert. You think that he was out there as well in what they call the forest to begin with, under total darkness, hunting food. The unrighteous man will find himself doing the exact same thing. And I guarantee him, he will not find anything. But my Father would have moved it all to a shelter, just to protect the righteous. This is a fact. And Shelley, if I might, I have to do this. I have to make sure that for every moment that my Father allows me to speak, I must remember that there comes a time when I must decrease. And I must allow my brothers and sisters to be able to ask questions based upon Q&A. Yes, I know they're hard that they ask their questions. I know they're very intense when they ask their questions. Do I have the answers? No, but my Father does. And they better believe I'm going to listen to him, brothers and sisters. I'm going to give you exactly what he gives me. So I am nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and believe me, he's here.